right. My faith and your faith should be in the Catholic Church. It should not be in anyone involved in the Catholic faith. It should not be in the Pope. It should not be in your local priest. It should not be in a cardinal or anything. It should not be in any man or woman or anyone, because they can all disappoint us. Our faith should be in the church. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine and today we're going to be talking about 3 things that I would like to see change in the Catholic culture of America. I really believe all these 3 things are cultural things that if we get back deeper into our roots of our Catholic faith, these 3 things make perfect sense. Starting off with number 1, I want it to be easier for people to receive communion on the tongue. So I grew up always receiving communion on the tongue because that's just my mom said it's better to receive it on the tongue. I didn't really question it. And I once, as a child, I must have been 10 years old, I actually dropped the Eucharist. And it was horrible, it was scary, and I picked it up and I put it in my mouth. But I was like, oh my gosh. So a few years ago, I was in North Carolina and was at this beautiful Catholic church. And there was like a dozen altar boys and a bunch of deacons and priests and everything. It was really cool. It was just a regular mass. It wasn't anything special. It was so great. And when we went up for communion, they had a kneeling rail and you knelt and they put a pan under your mouth to make sure that you didn't drop the Eucharist. I would receive on the tongue every single time if this pan was under here and I didn't have to worry about it. At my daily mass, I always call it my daily mass church because I go to Sunday mass where my friends go to mass, and then I go to my daily mass church where it's walking distance to me. At my daily mass church, it's several people kneel before they receive communion. And that makes sense because when you're kneeling, the priest is above you and you can open your mouth and just, it makes more sense. You're less likely to drop the Eucharist. So sometimes the priest stands on the ledge, so he's taller than me and most people, and he's able more easily to drop into your mouth. But I still get so nervous that I'm gonna drop it. And we have 2 watchers, which is great. We should all have watchers at Mass to make sure that nobody is stealing and doing anything bad with the Eucharist. Just changing the way we receive communion in general, having the watchers there, having a pan under your mouth. I mean, we have altar servers. Let's use them to make sure that the Eucharist never falls on the ground. And I think that would really encourage people more to receive communion in the mouth. I really want the reverence for the Eucharist. And this comes back to, this comes back to this video where I talk about how Jesus is present in the Eucharist. And we should be receiving it in our mouth so that just we don't want any particle of that host to fall. So let's just get better about that here in America. Let's bring the pans back. I really would love that. That is my suggestion to anybody watching this. I think we should start talking to our local parishes about that and trying to make that change. I think any changes we make should really just be reverence for the Catholic Church and tradition. That being said, number 2, about what I want to see change in the Catholic Church in America. I want confession to be more accessible and more available. I don't think people realize how easy it is to get confession. I am so blessed that I have so many priest friends, and they've always said, oh, if you ever need confession, just send me an email, call the parish office, send me a text, whatever. It's so easy to get confession, and people don't go. Maybe they go once a year. Some people never go. I want confession to be more widely available. There is a church by where I grew up where the confession was available on Mondays, and there is always a huge line. Sometimes they have 2 priests on a Monday night. You know, you just have confession available on Saturdays, but sometimes you need it on a Monday night. And what frustrates me is almost every parish, at least in my area, only has confession at like 4 o'clock on a Sunday. And then it's, you know, what's the point? There is no, it should be different at each parish, like what time confession is available so that we have more accessibility and it's more easier to get to. And I've never heard a priest say anything preaching on confession during one of his homilies saying, you know, you can come to us anytime you need it, because mortal sin is so easy to fall into. You know, talk to your parish priest, don't be scrupulous, or just make confession more accessible for everybody. The 3rd thing I want to see change here in America in the Catholic Church is community. I grew up going to a parish that had no community. And then it's actually funny, the day I'm recording this video, 6 years ago today, I went to my first Catholic Young Adult event. I was 22 years old. This parish, a few towns over, created this new Catholic Young Adult group. And by the grace of God, I saw it. I don't know how I should not have been seeing this message, but I did. And I went and I did not meet my future spouse as I was hoping to meet at that meeting. But I met some of my best friends, and it's been 6 years. And I was texting them today, and I said, "Oh my gosh, you guys, like, I have known you for 6 years, and you are some of my closest friends. I am so blessed. Community changes you, especially in this Catholic faith where the world thinks we're crazy. I mean, we need that community. I need that reassurance that I am strong in my faith. I don't know what people do without community. I really don't. And I go on Reddit sometimes to promote my YouTube channel. And let me tell you, there are some people on there who are so negative and say the only reason why there is no community anymore is because the Catholic Church doesn't do anything about it. And I want to ask them, have you tried? Have you tried to create a men's faith group, a women's faith group? Have you tried to do a mommy's club? You know, I've seen that some social media Catholic influencers have created mommy's clubs at their churches. Or, you know, there's the Knights of Columbus, which is super great for men as well. There's so many opportunities. In college, I went to a secular college and I had the Newman Center. And that was my first experience being around Catholics my own age, whom I learned so much. I learned so much from my peers and just book recommendations and everything like that. Start a book club. You guys, it's the barrier to entry to creating community in your church is wide open. There's so many ways to create community. You don't even need to be physically there. Just create a Zoom, ask your pastor if you can put it in the bulletin, and do the rosary once a week on Zoom. Easy. And then that's just, you guys, we need it so bad. We all know the Catholic Church, the numbers are declining, but the people who are sticking with it, oh, we are so faithful. I know so many people who used to go to Mass and then the pandemic happened and they don't go to Mass anymore. But the people who stayed, the people who are still here, we are so strong. I believe Pope Benedict predicted this. I'll put the quote down below because I don't have it right in front of me and I record on my camera, so I can't pull it and bring it back. But Pope Benedict said the church is going to get much smaller, but it's going to weed out the lukewarm people. It's just going to be the strong that are left. And guys, we are so strong and we need each other. And that means you've got to create community. The priest, he's super busy. He's super busy. He may not be able to create community. You, the lay people, we need to create community. And we can. I mean, oh my gosh, the groups at my local parish now that I go to, so much community, so much options. There's something for every age group, every point in your life. There is something for everyone. If you're in your 20s and 30s and you do not have a young adult group at your parish, look up the parishes nearby and look up their bulletins. They might have something in there. Just Google it. You'll find something. And if you don't, you can create your own. And it's going to start off small. You're only going to get like your friends to go to the first one, but pray and persevere and it will grow. I promise you. There are other Catholics out there our age. I know a lot of you might start throwing up roadblocks. This is what I call throwing up roadblocks. Like saying, okay, I want to create a women's faith group, but nobody's going to come. That's a roadblock. Don't throw up a silly roadblock like that. I want to create a women's faith group, but most of them are moms and aren't going to be free during the week. That's another roadblock. They have a husband. Theoretically, they have a husband who's going to be able to take care of their kids maybe once every other month if you want to create a women's faith group. They're not interested in being actually Catholic. They're interested in the superficial stuff. Roadblock. Don't throw up your roadblocks. Okay? Don't throw up the roadblocks. Pray, discern. You may be called to lead a certain group. And it's going to save the church, you guys. I really believe the laity, we are going to grow this church, and we're going to do it by showing people how happy we are in our faith. Because I am so happy in my faith, and my faith is not in the Pope. Again, not in the Pope, not in any man. My faith is in the church. And I just want to get back to that reverence that we have for the church, and that reverence we have for tradition. Speaking on tradition, this bonus thing I want to see change about American culture with the church is this weird competition between the traditional Latin Mass and the New Order Mass and charismatic and all that stuff. I don't get it. Again, when I see on Reddit, and some people don't have access to a traditional Latin Mass because there's none in the area. And yeah, I'm sorry it's being suppressed right now. I don't think it should be. I have never been to a traditional Latin Mass. Let's remember it's all Jesus present in the Eucharist. And the charismatic, I love going to charismatic events. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself to be charismatic, but I love going to charismatic events. I'm part of a great community that does great Shalom. Oh, Shalom. We've talked about Shalom before. I'm a part of a great community that is charismatic, and it's so much fun, and I grow so much of my faith through them. It's all different devotions. Let's not hate on the other devotions. So anyway, I just want us to remember we're all on the same team. It's Jesus no matter what. It's the same Pope. It's the same church. It's the same everything. We're the universal church, but there's different devotions within it. And let's remember we're all on the same team. All right, if you guys could give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below what kinds of things you would like to see change about the church, how we can get deeper into our roots of being Catholic, because I absolutely just love it. And please subscribe if you've been enjoying my videos. I really appreciate it. It really helps out the algorithm, and it's just great. I'm absolutely loving it. So have a great day. I'll talk to you next time. Oh, I forgot to mention this. I do not speak for the Catholic Church. I speak for myself, Catholic Catherine. All right, now for real. Bye.